JBN will keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, pistol and ammo seized in Spanish Town. One 9mm Glock pistol fitted with a magazine containing 18 9mm cartridges was seized in Top Banks, Spanish Town in St. Catherine on Monday. Reports from the Spanish Town police are that about 10:30 p.m., acting on information from the St. Catherine, Jamaica Eye, a group of men were seen exiting a motor vehicle and entering an unfinished building with an object in hand. The men then reportedly exited without the object. Lawmen carried out an operation in the area and the building was searched. The gun and ammunition were found in a section of the building. 2 males were taken into custody in relation to the seizure. However, no charges have been laid. Policewoman charged in case of rape and robbery of motorist in St. Elizabeth. A policewoman has been charged in connection with the ongoing investigation into the alleged rape and robbery of a female motorist in St. Elizabeth last month. Constable Laverne Hendricks, 44, of Ginger Hill District in the parish, is charged with attempting to pervert the course of justice and misconduct in a public office. The police had reported that on January 30, the female driver was stopped during a vehicle checkpoint operation and a breach of the Road Traffic Act was detected. Constable Alwyn Hill was being charged in connection with the case, allegedly solicited money in exchange for not prosecuting the woman. She was taken to an automated teller machine ATM and was allegedly subsequently sexually assaulted. According to the police, the woman made a report to Hendricks, who was on duty. However, Hendricks allegedly told the woman to lie in exchange for money. The woman constable also reportedly gave a false statement to colleagues who had subsequently launched an investigation. The report was elevated to a senior investigator and a case file was prepared and submitted to the Director of Public Prosecution, DPP, who recommended that Hill and Hendricks be charged. Hill was previously charged with rape, grievous sexual assault, forcible abduction, corruptly soliciting, and simple larceny regarding this incident. Garage operator chopped to death in Montego Bay. The Barney Street Police in Montego Bay, St. James, have launched an investigation into the chopping death of a garage operator at the People's Choice Plaza, located along Jared Street in the town on Tuesday. The garage operator, who is known around the second city as Dapper, reportedly went to an apartment located on the plaza about 1:30 a.m. The police say a male occupant at the plaza gave a report that he and other family members were at home when an unidentified male tried to break into the dwelling. The apartment owner further stated that he armed himself with a machete and chopped the alleged intruder multiple times. He died on the spot. Meanwhile, residents have said the garage operator gone to the premises to visit a woman with whom he had a relationship. St. Elizabeth farmer who accidentally drank poison dies. Police are investigating the death of a man who is reported to have accidentally ingested poisonous chemicals on Monday. He has been identified as 52-year-old Gary Greenley, a farmer of Mountainside, St. Elizabeth. Reports that Green was on his farm in Hounslow District when he mistakenly drank a mixture of herbicides, thinking it was fruit juice. It's understood that Greenley immediately realized his mistake and ran to an adjoining farm for help. He was then rushed to the Black River Hospital, where he was admitted. He was later transferred to the University Hospital of the West Indies, where he died. Gary Greenley is the brother of Floyd Greenley, the former general manager of the state-owned oil refinery Petrojam. Steenkop remembered as a people person. Head of St. Thomas Police Superintendent Alison Byfield said her officers were somber and heartbroken after learning that their colleague, District Constable Mark Anthony Forsyth, had been shot and killed by unknown assailants. Forsyth was assigned to the Trinityville Police Station in Seaforth. He was reportedly shot 3 times in the head and chest by the perpetrator before making his escape. The incident occurred about 3 p.m. in Seaforth. Residents had reportedly expressed concern about suspicious activity in this space. He called the police, a patrol team close by for assistance, but while the team was on the way, he saw a suspicious-looking man had approached him. As he neared this man, the man pulled a gun and opened gunfire at him. He received 3 bullets to the head and the chest, she added. The police's corporate communications unit confirmed that Forsyth was pronounced at hospital shortly after he was taken there by a patrol team responding to the incident. Byfield said that he was an exceptional policeman who prided himself on being punctual, efficient, and helpful. It is a tough one for my staff at this time. We're trying to process what really happened, and the memories of Mr. Forsyth will linger with us for a very long time based on the type of person that he was. Always on call, readily accessible, completes assignment. That was Mr. Forsyth, she said. The senior cop added that Forsyth was very sociable. Mr. Forsyth is a policeman before he was actually sworn as a policeman because of his love for policing and policing activities. His ability to get along with persons, to garner information, and to do social activities was unmatched. He was really a people person. He was actually manager for the St. Thomas Police Division football team, she said. Byfield said that shortly before Forsyth was murdered, she met with him on several policing matters. This is what makes it difficult right now. I looked him in the face sitting in my office, and I had discussions with him on some matters that I wanted him to pursue in the Trinityville area. He promised that it will be done. It was on the way from my office back to the station at Trinityville Police Station. He made a stop, and that's how he lost his life, Byfield said. The police high command is promising a thorough investigation into the killing of District Constable Forsyth. Anyone with information that can assist the police in solving this murder is asked to contact the Major Investigations Division at 876-758-5048. That's 876-758-5048. Police 119 emergency number or Crime Stop at 311. Jamaican man killed in Trinidad. A Jamaican man was killed on Friday night in Trinidad. He has been identified as Akeem Pegos, otherwise called Jamie. The police said about 10:15, gunshots were heard at a house on Francis Lane in Tunapuna. When they arrived, they found a 23-year-old slumped over the armrest of a chair. According to Trinidad Newsday, a relative of Pegos, who asked not to be named, said he tried guiding him away from a life of criminality, but he was ignored. The relative said Pegos was brought to Trinidad and Tobago by his father 12 years ago and later fell in with the wrong crowd. No arrest has been made. UWI investigating alleged student torture. The University of the West Indies UWI said an internal investigation is now underway in the case of a female student who was allegedly held captive in the room of another student at the Mona campus and burnt all over her body, stating that it has activated procedures in keeping with campus policy on these matters. The university said it is cooperating fully with the police investigations and stands ready to provide additional medical and emotional support to the injured student, her family, and other students who have been traumatized by the incident. On Monday, police reported that 20-year-old Matthew Hyde of a Bremer Avenue address in St. Andrew was charged after he allegedly held his ex-girlfriend captive in his room on a block of the Georgia Lane Hall between Monday, February 6 and Thursday, February 9, beat her and burnt her all over her body with a clothes iron. The UA, in a statement on the matter, said that on February 9, campus security received information that a female student was being held in the room of another student. She was thought to have suffered burns all over her body. Campus security immediately advised the campus police, along with the Mona police, who quickly responded, rescued the female student, and handed over the accused to the Halfway Tree police station where he was charged with assault occasioning grievous bodily harm, the UA said. The injured, a 19-year-old student, has received medical attention, and the campus has made arrangements for counseling support to assist her with coping after the traumatic ordeal. Senior campus administrators have also been in touch with the student to offer the necessary assistance to support her physical and emotional well-being and continued academic success, the university said. The UWI condemned the violent act, thanked the student who acted bravely to report the matter, and encouraged other students to be vigilant and report any suspicious activity that may endanger themselves or others immediately to the police or campus security. Government vows to finally enact law to deal with unexplained wealth. The Andrew Holness administration has again made a commitment to introduce the long-awaited legislative measure dealing with unexplained wealth to fulfill a commitment made to the country some 3 years ago. Governor General Sir Patrick Allen announced today that the government will take steps in the 2023-2024 parliamentary year to amend the Proceeds of Crime Act to include unexplained wealth. Nearly 3 years ago, the Prime Minister signed a memorandum of understanding with the opposition, private sector, and civil society to promulgate legislation for the confiscation of unexplained wealth. Since that time, there have been loud calls from civil society groups for the administration to table in Parliament the bill that would address unexplained wealth. The introduction of unexplained wealth orders, as agreed by the Crime Consensus Monitoring Oversight Committee, is a critical element in the fight against corruption. Other priorities for the government in the upcoming legislative year include amendments to the Minimum Wage Act National Minimum Wage Order, and Employment Agencies Regulation Act, the Occupational Safety and Health Bill, and the Employment Agencies Regulation Act. Sir Patrick told lawmakers earlier today, as he made his throne speech presentation, that the government will pursue key legislative reforms in 2023-2024 to advance efforts toward realizing improved public order, improved public safety, and reduction in crime and violence. The Governor General said that the government will also table pieces of legislation to amend the Fingerprints Act, the Immigration Restriction Commonwealth Citizens Act and Aliens Act, and the Corrections Act. Turning to the office of the Prime Minister, Sir Patrick highlighted the legislative priorities for 2023-2024. They include the Registration, Births and Deaths Amendment Act, the Access to Information Amendment Act 2002, and the National Archives and Records Management Bill. Building trust is critical as we move towards becoming a digital society. In this regard, the regulations under the Data Protection Act 2020 are being finalized. Further, during the new legislative year, lawmakers are expected to review amendments to the Rent Restriction Act, the Professional Engineers Registration Act, the Port Authority Act, and the Harbours Act. The regulations for the nomination, selection, and appointments to boards of public bodies will come into effect in 2023-24 to provide a transparent mechanism for persons to serve on boards of public bodies. The Governor General also announced that the Fiscal Commissioner, the guardian of Jamaica's fiscal rules, will be appointed in the new legislative year. He said the government is also moving this year to strengthen the regulations of the financial sector by unifying prudential supervision and regulation under the Bank of Jamaica while pursuing the establishment of a separate regulator for market conduct and customer protection. Child restraint systems still required in private vehicles, says Mackenzie. The police are advising private motorists transporting children that, unlike public passenger vehicles, PPVs, they are not exempted from having a child restraint system for children up to 12 years old. They are reminding that while the government has backtracked on this stipulation for PPVs under the new Tougher Road Traffic Act, it is still a requirement in private vehicles where appropriate. Head of the Jamaica Constabulary Forces, Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, Assistant Commissioner of Police ACP Gary Mackenzie said that private vehicles carrying children up to age 12 must either be outfitted with a booster seat or a well-fitted seat belt where appropriate. In a private vehicle, if the child is big enough, then the child should be in a seat belt. If the child cannot be properly held in a seat belt, then an adequate child restraint system is necessary, he said. Mackenzie said that regardless of the child's age, if the child is big enough to fit comfortably in a seat belt, then the motorist will not be penalized. He suggested that there are mechanisms that can be fitted to the seat belt to allow it to be placed comfortably across the chest of the child. There are some triangular cuffs that can temporarily modify the seat belt to fit across the child's chest. If it is adjusted and it fits properly across the child, then the child won't need a booster or child restraint system, he said. The P-Step head said that the enforcement of the new law, which came into effect on February 1, has been going fairly well, while stressing that enforcement is measured in terms of compliance and deterrence, not necessarily the number of prosecutions that have been made. It is early days yet. Persons are still learning about it. There is very good interest in what the new law is about, which is very important. What will happen is that it will lead to greater compliance and certainly improve road safety, Mackenzie said. I just want everyone to know that the objective of the new Road Traffic Act and regulations is to reduce fatalities, crashes, and to improve road user behavior that will benefit us. I want to encourage persons to embrace it, and let us all see how best we can conform with it, so that we can have safer roadways and greater public safety in general, he added. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.